Brilliant. So we are now recording. Welcome, everyone. So as I said, we're going to wait just a few more minutes to get people time to join. I really appreciate the fact that you're giving up some of your time today to spend with us. It's a really exciting, and foundational topic. So we're really pleased to have Manav here today. So yeah, we'll just leave it a few more minutes till about maybe almost till past, but again, 5 minutes past. But I'm looking forward to seeing where people are coming from in the chat. Also, this is a really important topic. And I'd be interested to see if anybody's willing to share like one word about why they were interested to join this topic and why it's important to them. Lovely. Hertfordshire. Cool. So cameras are entirely optional, but if you want to share any of your faces, then we'll appreciate that as well. Lovely. Okay. Oh, so quite an interesting spread across the UK and some international viewers. That's wonderful. Lovely. Brilliant. So we've got 20 or so people on now. So I'm going to start going through some of the content and we'll let others join, particularly as we have, there we go. We're obviously conscious of people's time and we want to be able to make the most of that. So again, thank you to those of you who have already joined us. So today we're doing a little bit of joining, and then I'll start with a short intro to the group and a couple of other notices, and then really we'll just get straight into it. And Manav will take us through his experience with accessible email, and then we'll have time at the end for questions. So we're assuming that this session and the talk will be approximately 30 minutes and that we'll have questions at the end, but feel free to add those in the chat throughout, or if there are any other questions or anything that you want to raise, then we'll come up for that at the end, and then we might close before the end of the hour, give everybody a little bit of time back, but we'll see how we go. So I've mentioned it a couple of times already, but how to engage in today's session. So type all your questions in the chat. We love to hear what you're thinking and see what information you're interested in, and it also is reassuring to know that there are actually people out there. So where are you joining from? I really appreciate those who have shared that with us. What clouds you're working on. So we're very aware that the marketing cloud landscape is now a little bit diverse, and there is a broad range of products available. So I'd be really interested to know which ones you're actually working on. We do this, we also at our live events ask who's hiring and who's looking for work to give people the opportunity to make the connection while we're here. So although this won't be, quite as compelling as in person, we are also interested to know and who's making those connections. And then the question that I asked earlier. So if there was one word that you would sum up why you wanted to join today, that would also be great to hear. We're interested to know whether this is also a topic that you're familiar with or it's something that's brand new to you. So that would be also great. Let me... So if this is the first time joining the group, these are the group leaders. I'm hosting this particular session. I don't make it to as many of the in-person events as I would like to, but you will see all of my colleagues in that particular area. There we go. Look, we've got some of their faces on screens. Lovely. Let's say hello to everyone. But yeah, Borak, Safi, Tracy, myself and Jimson, we all lead the group. You can get in touch with any of us at any point, particularly if you'd like to speak if you have an organization that would like to host one of our events, or just generally you're interested in being connected to the community in any shape or form, any one of the leaders here can give you some insight. Safi's actually on mat leave at the moment, but we're looking forward to when she rejoins the group later in the year. So just some quick updates before we get into the content. So our next group, we're expecting to be in February, and we're expecting to be in person. We don't have that to announce today, but please keep looking out. We're expecting to have that soon. And then for anyone that might be interested in speaking, just a shout out that the London's Calling call for presentations is open till this weekend. So if any of you out there are passionate speakers about Marketing Cloud, one, we'd love to hear about you in this group, but two, there's also a platform for you to share your knowledge there at London's Calling. And we'll also be recording this session, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel relatively soon after this. No commitments, particularly on that time frame, but we aim to do it as soon as possible. So that's always a question that I get asked a lot is, oh, can we get the recording? So we appreciate our speakers' time, and we're excited to be able to share that content in perpetuity. Lovely. So then, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our speaker today, Manav. He is a product owner at UNICEF. And as you can imagine, being within a charity, accessibility and making sure that your emails reach the broadest audience and the people that you serve is entirely important. So we're really grateful today to have someone with such practical experience on this particular topic. And the title of our session today is Designing for Accessibility in Email, Beyond Compliance in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So, Manav, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand over to you.
Right. Hi, hope everybody can hear me. I would, thank you, quickly share my screen. Okay. Just 1 second. Hope my screen is visible.
Lovely. We're in presenter mode. Brilliant. Thank you.
Perfect. So I might not be able to see the chats because somehow I'm only able to see the screen, but that's fine. First things first, thanks everybody for joining in for this event. So, and thanks Carrie and the other Salesforce Marketers Group London for having me. Before further ado, let's get started. So the topic would be designing for accessibility in email beyond compliance marketing cloud. So just about me, my name is Manav. I'm a product owner, as Carrie mentioned, and I'm also a Salesforce marketing champion. I work for UNICEF UK, and I look more into the product Salesforce Marketing Cloud, things around it, and designing and understanding how we can integrate and get more engagement and further upgrades, which comes under Marketing Cloud, Salesforce. Moving on. So enhancing user experience through inclusive email design practices. So we would be covering a lot more, which is a bit more general topic. It doesn't have to be very specific. We mainly will cover why design accessibility matters, why we need, what is accessibility in the end, and how we can make our emails more accessible and make the reputation of our organization or our company for who we send our emails a bit more recognized and reputable in various platforms and services, under various services. So the agenda for today will be why accessibility matters, common barriers to accessibility, building accessible templates and content builder. So I have also mostly focused on Marketing Cloud, how we can enable, or we can create accessible emails through Marketing Cloud, testing and techniques, real world impact and feedback. In the end, we would be covering the Q&A. And I would come back to the questions later because I cannot see the chat. But once I stop sharing the screen, I would pop in and answer your questions in the end. So feel free to pop in the chat, and if anything comes up, Carrie would do let me know, and I can just take a pause. And without further ado, let's get started. Understanding accessibility. Right. So why accessibility matters? So when we think about accessibility, a lot of things comes to our mind, like what is accessibility? Of course, we would um, we would help make things more accessible for people who are not able to understand, or people who are a bit more special. And in this context, for emails, there are over 1 billion people worldwide which live with disabilities and need accessible digital content. And also, by making our content accessible, we definitely make our reach a bit more further than the actual audience, target audience. So, and also it is a legal requirement with what WCAG, it's Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. So what this covers is it binds us legally to cover our to make our digital content a bit more accessible in terms of looking robust, compliant with mobile, web, various services, Outlook, Gmail, Hotmail, everything else, and moreover, iCloud and loads of service providers which exist. So, commit to inclusions, prioritizing accessibility shows, yep. So it also gives us a bit more understanding, the commitment to what we as an organization represent, diversity, equity, inclusions, and brand loyalty. It gives us a bit more reputed loyalty with our customers or users who we send emails to. And it helps us develop a bit more trust as we build our more engaging emails through focusing on email accessibility. Moving on. So covering first, what are the common accessibility barriers? So low contrast issues, missing all text, poor keyboard navigation, unclear link description, distracted animation. So I have covered all of this in a few examples, which we'll see later. But I think this is a very generic, and people, you might have noticed that you only spend a few seconds or a few minutes if email is not engaging. Then only you would be able to pop in and then slowly scroll down unless if it's a transactional email, or if it's just a marketing email, or if you haven't ordered anything, if somebody is reaching out to, it could be any use case. So first things, the major part, which is the color contrast. If somebody is visually impaired, if somebody is visually unable to understand, like, okay, what colors? So if we can't, just an example, we can't use black a background and black text over it, or maybe gray text, because we won't be able to see that. So it's just an example. So it is ideal that we make our images, or we make the color contrast very, very user friendly and acceptable. For example, you must have noticed, like, black goes over yellow or something like that, which we'll cover in the examples. All text is important as well. Let's say if the image doesn't load, and then due to, sometimes what happens is, if email is very interactive, or if it's very image friendly or heavy loaded, it takes a bit while to load. For example, in Outlook, it takes like 5 seconds or more than 3 to 5 seconds if it's very content based, heavy loaded. When I say heavy loaded, it could be different font designs depending on the brand. So it takes a bit while. So if we put on alt text behind the images while it loads, people would know, okay, this is what is being covered. This is what the image displays. This is what we show. And keyboard navigations hinders users who rely on keyboard. So if people are having extra keyboards or external keyboards, you know, people who have keyboards which are used by on the screen only, not the physical keyboard ones. So that also is considered a barrier. And unclear link descriptions, click here. So we gotta be specific, which we'll see in examples. Not, yeah, the flashy contents. So this is a bit more important. Let's say we display RGB colors like for just an example, 5 4 3 2 1 kind of, and then suddenly some pops. So this could be flashy. So it is advised, it is also required to avoid or be creatively making effective flashy or not flashy content if just so that it's easy for others to view. Now, the main part, how we cover or build accessible emails. So as you see, in this theme, our UNICEF branded theme, we have used color contrast. So now that you can see, it looks a bit more acceptable. It looks nice, like a bold text over a black and then over a blue background. So it highlights its importance and it highlights all the text. So uh, schematic HTML structure. So it's just I won't get into much details. I want to keep it generic, but my audience, if they are using Marketing Cloud, so I think uh, in some point of the time they have coded or they have created HTML, CSS emails. So there's this structure I want to talk about. Like you pop in some, just an example, there are some design or structure like HTML and then slash HTML. So it is advised, it is required, or it's a best practice to preserve that structure, because if somebody else comes back to that structure, or if we want to make some changes and then those things get missing, it would highlight as a red structure, and then the tags wouldn't close in the end. So that's why I've put this schematic HTML structure is important. And lines, tables, we gotta close the tags like slash for if we are doing inline editing, and then like we making sure that the tags are closed in the end. So there are tools existing which optimize that, which we'll talk about later. And I assume you must have used it sometime before as well. So color contrast importance, I think I've talked about it a bit more in our previous slides. Digital descriptive image text. So also we as UNICEF, whenever we design our emails, our team, we provide a descriptive text. For example, uh, you see the descriptive text on the top left corner. We have like I have made this, so it's a policy, like we describe whatever is going on in image. And then, for example, in this one as well, it says here playing with her daughter in Ambikapur, Chhattisgarh, and these images as well. So if you would have noticed, so the color contrast and the description is very, it highlights the importance of the image, and it gives the user a bit more um, area of understanding. Like, okay, it is a bit more user friendly, or like, oh, this is what's going on in the image. So that's what it means when sorry, it's, yeah, just for an example, uh, descriptive image text, and of course, alternate text, which I talked about earlier. Um, Logical reading or maintain a natural content flow. Okay. When it comes down to more, so personally, or maybe I can speak on behalf of a lot everybody. We also use our mobiles to see our content or emails. So I would, as a personal experience, I would just get a notification on Gmail or Apple Mail. I would just pop in and have a look. Oh, this is what the email says. So also, it's also we can also focus on more of subject lines so that we understand. Okay, oh, what does they have to say? It gives us an urge of opening an email and see the whole email. It's like an attraction, which is urges us to open the email. And then, of course, when we scroll, the content should be like body image, like whatever the requirements of the people, sorry, whatever the requirements of the branding organization. So we call it user friendly experience, like body buttons, click through links, and in the end, all the GDPR CAN-SPAM requirements, Facebook, X, YouTube, and everything. Right. Now we cover the general, like specific Marketing Cloud features, how Marketing Cloud offers. So that was a bit general before, and I'll cover that more in later examples. So custom markup editors, HTML editors allow schematic markups for improved accessibility in emails. So there are a few existing HTML markup editors, so you can find them online. And we have AI as well. So depending on what service, what AI you use, you can just pop in your code, and then um, it will give you um, describes if you are using inline editing or if you are using code. So in Content Builder, there are various ways you can get the designing of the emails. So first things, you can just drag and drop a text editor, which is like unfortunately, I cannot share my screen for how we can go into Content Builder, but if you would have used it, so you can just get on the text editor. You can just pop in your body, content, image, and everything, and in the end, it would give you a structured HTML editor. So you can go back and edit that as well if needed. Um, and also, there is one more section called Code View. In that section, you would have all the HTML, CSS, everything written by default once you are done with creating the drag and drops in Content Builder. Of course, this is important, consistent templates. So in Marketing Cloud, if you would have used, I assume everybody must have used Content Builder. So uh, if not, then there are pre-designed templates which Marketing Cloud offers that we could reuse them, and they are relatively easy to configure. We could just load up a pre-designed template and then just edit it on our personal branding and as per the requirements. And it is technically simple as well to just, you could just drag and drop it. You could just change the colors. You could just change the background colors. Like it's simple and easy. If it's a custom requirement, definitely you do have the feature to edit that as well. But this is if you load up a pre-designed pre-designed email template, it would get you a foundation base, or it would get you started. And dynamic alt text, AMP script dynamically inserts alt text to keep the content accessible. So we can configure the dynamic alt text as well. There's a feature you can configure in AMP script, and then it would slide the dynamic alt text as well if the images doesn't load up. Generally, there is a column we can pop in alt text as well. But using AMP-script, you can just, if there are multiple images, it depends on the requirements, but the feature is available, and then you can use it. Preview and testing. So Marketing Cloud also offers preview and testing. I'm sure I won't get into much details. People, you might be aware. of preview and testing who might have used Content Builder again and who are not, who are new in with us. So preview and testing, Marketing Cloud offers this exceptional feature, which is you design your email. There's another tab called preview and testing. You just pop in there. You load up the data through a data extension. Data extension is basically all the data where we store our. Um, it's like a CSV or an Excel file, but we call it data extension. It's like columns and tables. So you can slide through different names if it's a dynamic content, if it's different images. If you're calling from AMP you could just slide through the names. It would show you a preview on how it looks like. And also, it also offers to show you how we can look at it in a mobile or in a desktop version as well. Right, moving ahead with that, testing and impact. Right. So this is also an important feature or important slide, which I would focus on what tools do we use and how we can um, leverage the external tools, which is nicely or well integrated with Marketing Cloud. So the first feature is the first tool is Litmus. I am sure people might have heard about it. So basically, Litmus is a uh, email accessibility tool, which allows us to optimize our existing emails and render. So in Marketing Cloud, email Litmus integrates with. You can log in through your Litmus profile, and then it can show you how your email look with different platforms. For example, it's like iOS or dark mode, light mode, Gmail, Outlook, web dark mode, Gmail dark mode, Outlook dark mode, or loads of stuff. And it would just give you an email on asset as well, a bit more insights on how you can configure your changes. And mobile dark mode, web dark mode, like literally everything. And also there's a feature you can send the email to Litmus email address or Litmus account, and then it would give you optimized HTML output as well, image profile, like what image is missing, if the image link is legit, if it's like when you click on a link, it redirects you through another links. Sorry, it redirects you depending on the requirements. So it would just verify everything. And also, these tools can also tell you that what's the size of image which is acceptable. For example, if it's 400 KB or if it's 1 MB or whatever the size of email. If it's heavy or if it's not, it would tell you how fast it will load depending on the size of the image. So it's good tool. Color contrast checkers, yep. So web aim and start verify text meets accessibility standard. So I think I did mention about color contrast, how important it is. So there are checkers for that as well. Screen reader simulations. If you or audience is, if you know, give it a bit more next level, or if you want to have to use more tools, we have voiceover simulation for visually impaired user experience. So, and NVDA. So I'm covering all of the extra techniques and tools which are covered. But I personally, we use mostly Litmus, and we used to use Everest as well. So which is now the same. Manual testing, keyboard navigation, and tab order test ensure user without mouse instructions. So we can configure that as well, depending on how your audience is, what's the feedback you're getting. I would say first we must internally test our emails, send it throughout internally, see how it looks like before sending out to our global audience, and understand what are the gaps. And unless we get it, we can't get it 100% perfect, but we can get it mostly acceptable. And then moving ahead, real world impact and feedback. So what would be the impact of this accessibility? Why would we do that? Why is this important? And why do we have to do that? What if we just don't do it? And like, why not? So covering all these scenarios. So if it would definitely give your user engagement a bit improve and readability and navigation. So people would, your open rates would improve, your um, engagement would improve, people with your brand, if depending on what brand you represent. So I'm talking very generally. So in nonprofit, like in our scenario, it would help us, it would develop a bit more trust between our users, between our donors, between our active subscribers. So it would give our reputation of our emails would be more, it would shoot up by some, if we follow these practices, it would shoot up different percentages. Open rates would improve, click rates would improve, and loads of things we would uh, we can get as impact. And it would also give us a positive feedback, and it would also uh, like people, generally it happens as like word of mouth grows. Oh, their emails are nice, people would help, we would get less unsubscribes, we would get less spam reports or everything, less inquiries. Like sometimes if something is not clear on the email, for example, if you are sending an email to a wider audience and the link is not working, so, or your unsubscribe page or anything for that matter is not working, and people reach out to your support or to your support team. So this would also impact as reducing the support engagement. Like if, like, people would complain less in easy terms. And alignment with DEI goals, inclusive email design, reflective commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion values. So it would, we would be, it would help us be a part of a bit more wider diverse community. It would be helping us create a bit more impact towards what we are trying to achieve. So in the community wide, let's say, depending on the audience. So if you're targeting your target audiences globally, or if your target audiences region wise, so definitely it would leave a very positive and better impact once your emails are accessible, and once people started liking your emails, liking your strategy of engagement. However, they would, it would also develop us a sense of appreciation about how hard everybody, like, as a brand you are trying to create an impact in the real world today. Again, yeah, finally, coming down to the examples. So these are examples which are generic. So let me show you. So non-accessible emails. I have two slides for this. So one is, let's cover this one quickly. So do not miss our latest offer. So it's just a generic email, how it would go. Obviously, nothing is specific. I'm trying to cover the small details which are sometimes missed. Um, and accessible emails like, do not use our offer. Don't Ours are latest offers, visit examples, offers. So highlighted colors, as you could see, schematic structure on web page, missing headlines on the left side. You see, we are targeting like WhatsApp as well. So it's just an example of um, customer engagement email, and for on this side you can see not accessible is like images there, headline, and this one is from Marketing Cloud. You see this is a bit more lighter. We have made it a bit more darker. So you see the color click, uh, white on yellow background. I mean, personally, it doesn't look good, but this one looks a bit more like engaging. This one looks a bit more better in terms of clicking looks. And in this one, of course, we have our branding. And here you can see that do not miss our latest offers. So you see, I have focused on small details. We can pop on some semicolon and then also maybe a comma, and then instead of a star, and then a semicolon in front of that as well. Of course, similar designs, blue on a white, and then this is non-accessible, low contrast. As you could see, the HTML, I've trying to popped on the HTML as well. And here you could see all text is also displayed, description URL. You can pop in the URL as well if needed. And again, the body. So this is more for the all text. All text goes in the image. So right now it's just showing on the right hand side. And this is for Marketing Cloud Content Builder as well. So some of the non-accessible, like it's exactly the same, but this is how it would look when you would drag and drop your different content blocks in your email when you are creating an email. So a bit more specific, but um, that's how it would look once you would create an email. Moving ahead. So this is a mobile design, how it would look on your mobile. So I have kept the design and the looks of the examples similar so that you can see how widely we can cover them. Some of them might be the same, but I will just cover the distinctive ones. For example, in this phone, you could see how you see the image, how better it covers the whole upper screen notch of the phone. Of course, you can customize it. I haven't covered the dark mode. I should have, but that's fine. Do not miss out. You see on this side, just by making the background color a little bit dark, how highlighted um, the text comes out to be instead of this one. So I would choose this one as well. Let me know which one would you choose. Moving ahead. Okay, conclusions. So key takeaways. So just to wrap up, I would say accessibility benefits, accessible emails design, enhance usability and inclusivity for all users. I think we have covered a lot of benefits, impacts of accessibility, and how it would benefit your organization, your branding, your reputation, and everything, user engagement, improvements, and Salesforce tools, and how Marketing Cloud also offers a lot more accessible features. Also, you can use, there's one more feature called MJML text editor. You can use that as well. It's an app exchange, so it's a custom feature. You can download it in your um, content builder, and then you can use it MJML uh, text language editor as well to create more better emails. So Salesforce Marketing offers HTML emails, reusable templates. Salesforce Marketing Cloud offers a lot more extra features for making their emails accessible. Dynamic content is one of the exceptional features which we can use. Also, we can use Einstein as well, generative AI creating the content on its own. So, um, I mean, it doesn't have to do much with accessibility, but also it gives you more features to explore in the content builder, and it does give you an add-on towards uh, it's just an extra step which adds on towards achieving your organizational goals. Testing importance, yep, testing is really important. I would want to focus on testing more. Obviously, internal testing, personal testing. If you were a user, if you were to get this email, how would you feel like? Just to add on a personal touch. If you feel your personal, like, if you feel like this is okay, then of course, internal testing, I would say focus on that. And then later, organizational testing as well, if uh, there's time before giving a final send. And make sure you click all the links. Every link works. Their image, if you are using dynamic content or text over image, make sure it loads properly. Use the testing tools which you use if you use them. And just test before sending an email. Empathy and design. Yep. Organization values. We have talked about this. And just to talk about UNICEF, so we are present almost in 190 countries, territories, world's toughest places, and we have like 10K employees. So just so you know how where we are and what we do, and we do deliver a lot more. 88% of our field staff, and we do create an impact everywhere as much as possible. Any questions?
Thank you.
Hopefully,
Thank you ever so much. Yeah, we're pretty much on time. I really appreciated that. I mean, some messaging that came loud and clear for me was, again, testing.
yeah.
Because I mean, we've all been there where we've sent out, like, we've designed an email and we've tested it in one platform, like, oh, what does it look like in Gmail? And it looks fine. And then you've sent the email and, you know, on Outlook looks something else. So yeah, it's a really important thing. And I like that you really highlighted some different tools. If anybody has any questions, please do them put them in the chat. We have had a question from Jeremy about how many emails do you send out typically a month?
So it varies. So we do have different scenarios. So there are a lot of teams who are sending out emails. So depending on different teams, so we have different groups we target. So it's difficult to share a number, but we do send out loads of emails, between 10 to 50. I cannot pinpoint the number, but
is that in the 10 to 50,000?
No, no. I mean, our audience is also widely distributed across the United Kingdom, and we do target, and it changes. Let's say if there is an emergency, so we tend to create different sets of priorities when it's an emergency. And just to add on, one more thing I wanted to share. Yes, it was regarding. Sorry, I forgot. It was regarding interactive emails. So Marketing Cloud also offers interactive email, so you can fill up a form within an email without even going back to the redirect link. Sometimes it breaks. Maybe I think Outlook doesn't offer interactive emails, but Gmail does. So just to be accessible, you can pop on a link in Outlook, like where they can be redirected to a landing page. But in Gmail or in different service providers, you can just pop on a submit button, and it would redirect you to a thank you email. It's just an extra feature, but it does leave a nice positive impact. Or like, oh, I didn't have to. It just saves an extra step. You could just fill up an email details in your email.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that I was always aware of, that when any
not a lot of people use that, but
platform launches a feature, right, you still have to make sure it's accessible to everyone, or have a fallback mode, right? Because otherwise, something that you think is shiny and new and helping people will help a subset of them, but also provide maybe even a degraded experience for the subset where it doesn't render as you expected.
Yeah, And it gives you an edge as well compared to the other other emails. Let's say you receive 10 emails a day, or not 10 is a lot less, 10 to 15. And then let's say one email says, oh, you could just fill it in there, and then it would just stand your brand organization out. Like, wow.
Yeah, I think definitely and particularly for things like feedback, like Net Promoter Score and that sort of stuff.
Surveys, feedback surveys, and it would just save the user a lot of time. So
yeah. No, but it was really, and also interesting that you highlighted some of the tools that get used for things like for testing with screen readers and
yeah,
that sort of element. I think that's a really important thing. I mean, Litmus has always come up as a theme, like as an additional service that has always added a level of value. We're not
yeah,
affiliated with Litmus at all in this, but it's definitely a platform that I have heard plenty.
yeah. Litmus is nice, and there are a lot more other platforms as well, depending on the requirements of organization. I cannot pinpoint any one of them, but yeah, they are nice, and it gives you an edge over other scenarios, other testing.
And and Litmus is integrated as part of account engagement as well. Now I'm talking from an old school point of view. I'm not sure how much. I was actually, like, when you were talking about it, I was actually, because I haven't actually thought about that from how that sits within advanced and core and like versions of the newer versions of Pardot, or using the new email builder kind of stuff. I don't know whether when you're using the new email builders or anything, whether that affects whether we can use that functionality. Does anyone else know?
Yeah, that'd be interesting if anybody in the chat has any experience with those or the newer tools. I mean, I'm assuming that there is a number of transferable things across all the platforms. So the ability, like the drag and drop sort of builders and the modularized components, which again are extremely useful when it comes to viewing emails in different form factors. So then it automatically does a reasonable amount of that work for you from transition from desktop to mobile, as in it, if you separate the things out into titles, text box, images, it nicely stacks those for you. So again, it's good to hear that the forefront tools and functions in these tools that everyone would recommend that you use, and the reason that people buy them also have a knock-on improvement in terms of the person receiving the email and their experience.
Yeah, and also it gives you a bit more, I mean, depending on what features, what versions you are using, it might also give you some extra, like your reputation, IP reputation, and different, like who's opening. But I think Marketing Cloud offers the tracking aspects as well, but you can use more of Litmus or more of the testing tools, techniques for like dynamic personalization, loads of stuff. So depending on what's the version of your, like if it's enterprise, if it's core, as Tracy mentioned.
Yeah, we've had Ketan has said that they believe that Inbox Monster can be integrated with Salesforce. So,
that's interesting.
Yep. So thank you very much for that tidbit of information.
Yeah, thanks for that. Right. Any more questions? Any further
that we have? Does anybody in the chat that's willing to share? Do you think is there anything what was the thing that you were most interested in that you might explore after this session? Like, was there something that you hadn't known that you could do in Marketing Cloud before, or that you maybe should have been keeping an eye on, and that you might go away after this session? I appreciate that we're coming to the end now, so
yeah,
I'm not sure.
If anybody wants to reach out to Kerry or me, or like any of our group leaders regarding this, or regarding any more features in Marketing Cloud, of course, I am always happy to help, and I'm sure everybody would be else as well.
Okay. Tamsin has a question.
Mhm.
So have you needed to make any changes on the Salesforce side based on the enforcement from Google of their sending rules?
It's I don't know how can I answer that, but I'll tell you one thing. So once the email leaves Marketing Cloud, once we send it, it depends on the service provider, and if it also depends on our IP reputation, how well we have warmed it up, and how well, like where it lands in here in the IP. And I'm talking very general. I don't want to be specific. If it lands in your inbox, if it lands in your spam. So if there are specific rules set by Google or Gmail, depending on your IP or your Marketing Cloud email sends. So in our side, we can't. I don't think. Maybe we can, but I don't think we can do anything once the email leaves Marketing Cloud. What, like, generally, if it doesn't land in somebody's inbox, it could be due to their inbox is full, or the user doesn't exist, or they don't have storage, or various reasons, or it just lands in the spam, or it just bounced because of the reason. It does impact the sender reputation, but it's user based. And SF side, I don't think, unless anybody else knows, I don't think they have any specific features to offer to integrate with third-party service providers.
Okay, well, so on that note, I think unless someone rapidly puts in another question, we'll probably wrap there.
Yeah.
So I once more want to thank everybody that spent their time with us this lunchtime. I would like to thank our speaker for the work that you put in on this topic. And we will be meeting in person, I believe, in February. Watch this space. And otherwise, I may see you at another online session soon. Lovely.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you. Goodbye for now.
Thanks for everybody. Bye.
Bye.